Hey there everyone, so today I'm going to show you the proper way to repair your original NES. So first off, you're going to want to take your magic wand and repair no, just kidding. So you're going to need just a regular standard Phillips head screwdriver. Now I already did some of this stuff already, but there will be 6 screws located on the other side of the NES, and you're going to want to remove those. Once you take care of that, you're going to want to remove the screws around from the hot plate, and then take the hot plate off. Now, here comes the interesting part. There are 6 screws on the ejector, and you're going to want to remove those. I already put a new set of teeth in here, but I'm going to show you the proper way to do it. And the most common issue of original NES is like a blinking screen, black, white, blue, different colors of blinking screen. It just really kind of depends on the person's TV, I guess. So you're gonna want to remove the ejector. And then you're going to want to remove this set of teeth, and do it very carefully. Kind of lift the board a little bit to remove the teeth. Now this is a good set of teeth. There's various different types of teeth, and I mean, you can order these off of, Amazon, or you can go order them from Hyperkin. But the type of teeth that you want to get, see these lines here on each side. The type of teeth that you want to get are the ones that have diagonal lines up into the corner. Those are the good teeth. And each time you get a new set of teeth, they're going to end up being kind of tight. So I'll show you a little trick to making them not so tight. So what you do is you can either use a cartridge cleaner to do this, or you can use Q-tips and rubbing alcohol. So you're going to want to get one end wet with some rubbing alcohol, and not a super whole lot is needed, just enough to be wet. And you're going to want to clean the contacts of the board on both sides, so do that with the wet end. And then to do the other side, you lift the board a little bit and do the other side. And since I already cleaned this, it's already pretty good, but I'm just going through the process. And you do the same with the dry side. Make sure it's nice and dry before you put the teeth on. That could lead to issues in the future. Alright, so now that that's all done, you're going to want to take the teeth and put them on, so that the diagonal corners are facing the front of the console. So it's this part that goes to the bottom, and you're going to want to lift the board for a good easy insertion. Lifting the board is very helpful. Now you're going to want to be very careful putting these on, but apply force. So kind of use the edges of the teeth here to kind of push it in. Don't bend the pins back here, otherwise you'll have some problems. And then next you take the ejector and like slide it in a little, but make sure to lift the board so it'll be easy. Now also, just so you know, there's actually this little flap here on the ejector, and you're going to want to make sure that that is underneath the board here. Otherwise you're going to run into some issues. You may have problems ejecting, and it won't sit right. The games may not play. So you're going to want to slide that buddy in there a little bit, and then just be careful and make sure you lift the board a little and push. The flap there is underneath the board, if you can see that. But you're going to want to make sure that you do that. So first things first, you take your Phillips head screwdriver and start putting the screws in. Now I like to do the front ones first, and it just seems better that way. You don't want to use a whole lot of torque for the front screws. Just make sure it sits right and it's not too tight. You don't want it to be extremely tight. You just want it to be flush with the board. And once you start to feel that there's a little bit of torque needed, then that's it. You don't want to do it too tight. Now on these screws, the screws that go here, these are the most important. So these ones are the very most important. So yeah. So for these ones, you don't want to screw them even flush with the board, unless you want to have problems yanking out your cartridge. So you want to make it so it's like just a little bit above the ejector here, just so it's screwed in with the ejector and the teeth. Otherwise it may be too tight. Now these other ones here on the furthest end, these aren't as important, but again, you don't want to make them extremely tight. So just when it starts to feel like it's, you know, starting to add a little bit of torque, that's when you want to stop. So you want to be very gentle with it. And then again, do the other side. And screw this guy in here, and again make it so it's not entirely screwed in, and then you screw this guy in. There we go. And I like to use the Karate Kid for my tester, but this is just to show the tightness itself. So you go ahead and push that buddy in, and then see, so this, even this is still kind of tight. There we go. So with new teeth, you're always going to experience tightness, so you may want to loosen up the back screws sometimes as well, just so it's not super tight and very hard to get your cartridge out of there. So give that We'll go there. And these teeth are always going to be tight when they're new. It just depends on wiggle room. So that's not super hard to get out of there. But okay. And then you just reassemble from there, and you're done. You won't experience any more of the blinking light. Sometimes the blinking light can happen with other things for the board, but it's most often the case that you would need to do new teeth. So I just showed you the new teeth replacement for your original NES, and depending on teeth, you can get them from like $5 to $20 depending where you get, but make sure you get the diagonal lined teeth for your NES, and you should not experience any more issues after that. It's not as simple as just putting them in and thinking that it'll be done that way. The process that I showed you is the actual thing that you need to do to make sure your NES is in good and working condition. Alright, thanks for watching.